G'day and welcome to Inforunners. I'm Execute. Today I'm joined by the Astropub and Algared. How you boys doing?
Good.
I'm sick.
In the
He
head,
just got a,
we know this for a while now. No.
No.
He's got the
I'm
smooth-
struggling. I'm
the
struggling with a
smooth
sore throat. I'm drinking my medicinal scotch at
yeah.
7 a.m. in the
gonna say,
morning. So
Yeah.
it's
You sound like a man who's been smoking cigars and drinking scotch all morning.
Yeah.
yeah.
Blackjack and hookers. That's what it was. Blackjack and hookers.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So today we're going to be doing Scorpius Buyer's Guide. I've actually got it queued up in game, so we're going to have a look at game and we're just going to talk about it and our thoughts on it. We'll go from there. So I'm going to kick it off in the game, and we'll go from there. Alrighty then. So, Paul, tell me, what's your initial thoughts on the RSI Scorpius?
In general, it's an X-wing.
You don't say.
It's a good ship. Yeah, Star Fury. It's aesthetically pleasing as heck. It's probably, even though it's it's an X-wing, it's actually not really. It's the teardrop shape when it's like this, when it's landed, is so unique. I've never seen anything like it in terms of like the swing out. I guess Star Wars has some similar like swing out ships, but like the whole like very compact and then just like unfurls like a
it is a little bit like an RSI X-wing, you know what I mean? Like it really does own its manufacturer, I think.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Go on, sorry.
Oh, yeah, go
I
ahead.
was going to say, I was going to agree with you. It absolutely really does scream in its landed state, Aurora. It's got the same hallmarks of the Aurora. The beautiful thing about it is that cockpit view.
Yeah.
How strutless it is, and yet when you look at it, it's still got that iconic RSI shaped cockpit, and yet look at that, no struts. How awesome is that?
Yeah. I probably didn't
pick
the best place. I think it's becoming nighttime here very rapidly. But yeah. Like as you say, when it looks like in its X-Wing stance, I still don't think it's X-Wing enough. I think, yes, it has the X, obviously, but like from above, it's completely different to an X-Wing. If you actually go look at an X-Wing, it's obviously got that really thin, long nose, and its wings are flat. And the only thing an X-Wing really does is, kind of go by, together and apart. And when this thing, sweeps right back like that, it's actually completely different in its transformation.
I say it almost looks like a beetle when it fully extends out, rather than like a typical kind of thing. It has more of an organic feel to it, which is interesting.
Yeah, and you've got to love that. You've got to love that skin. Like that scorpion on the skin is really unique as well. They really did do a great job in the presentation of this, both in the skin, in the look of the ship when it's in flight mode, when it's in land mode. It is just a visually pleasing, awesome ship. That's probably the easiest way to describe it. It's just great. It's just beautiful.
I think obviously the other really big thing is it's got a turret on it, and that alone is just another thing that differentiates. Like you could almost see this like a court case. Like if CIG was defending themselves from Disney, what they would be trying to say that it's not an X-Wing, and I think there is enough there to say it's not an X-Wing.
It's swept back enough for the landed stage is not the wings still long but flat together, but they're swept back like an Aurora. The turret says this is not an X-Wing. It's a bit like the Galaxy Quest Defender. This is not the Enterprise,
One of the other things I did find very interesting about this ship too is it's it's probably all the fighters are coming now, is all the compartments that this ship has, and I'll land in a bit and I'll go through and show you all that. But this it's definitely got a place in the game because it's how do I put it? It's like I originally heard it was somewhere between the Vanguard and the Hurricane, but I don't think that's its spot. I think it's kind of under the Hurricane in some ways, because the Hurricane, like, it's got more guns than the Hurricane, but I think it's a little more brittle than the Hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Paul? Where do you think it sits?
I think it sits between. It sits just under the Hurricane. I say it's a light heavy fighter, and that sounds like nonsense. But when you play with it, that's what it feels like. It is a light heavy fighter. It is not something like the wings can get ripped off pretty quickly. They're easy to target. The damage just is not as much as you'd think a heavy fighter would be able to punch out. I mean, 4 size 3s is pretty nasty, but and then of course you have an additional, I think, 4 size 3s from the turret operator. But solo operating, it's very different. It's definitely it's one of those ships that I think is a solid. It is a heavy fighter for somebody who wants the option, who likes lighter fighters, like say the Hornet. But wants the option with a 2 players, like for a second player, because you can do pretty good work on it. But I wouldn't, it's not at all as at PvP. Like, it's not meta. That's all it is.
I think the Hurricane is still the meta from what I gather. And it's weird because when you look at them, the Star Fury, the Scorpius has, basically 4 extra size 3 weapon rather than, so. Because the Hurricane's got 2 size 2s for the pilot, or are they 2 size 3s for the pilot?
For the pilot, it's 2 size 4s on the Hurricane.
2 size 4s. So this is, so this has 2 more weapons than a Hurricane, and yet for the pilot, which really does enable the pilot to dictate the combat, whereas in the Hurricane, it is the turret gun is really dictating. Should be really calling, this is a target I want to go for. This is, go for this one, keep me on target for him. Whereas this, the turret gun is really supporting the pilot, and that seems to be the biggest differentiation.
Yeah. And I'd agree that's what I actually like about the Hurricane. It's really more that the pilot is an assistant to the turret gunner, where here, as Algared said, it's I feel that I just fly and the turret gunner's just kind of being dragged along with me because he's got as much firepower as I have.
So you ignore the turret gunner. You say, you do what you're doing, but I'm going for this guy, and you can join me or you can do your own thing. But you almost ignore your turret gunner in that sense. And I know it sounds sucky, but yeah. Whereas on a Hurricane, the pilot can't really do that. He can't say, I'm chasing this thing with my 2 guns. It's really positioning the turret gunner so he can unleash unholy hell on whoever they're attacking, because with his turret at 4 guns. So
Please proceed to assign.
I'm all good. I'm all good. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, so in the live stream yesterday, I actually clipped this and ripped one of the wings off. It was not pleasant at all. But, doing a much better job. It doesn't stop as well as some of the other ships. Like, I'm used to things like the Redeemer, and the Redeemer just stops on a dime. This just does not do that, so, yeah.
And it really does. That really did show one of the disadvantages of this ship, where you've got the guns on those wingtips, and so you only knocked off the tip of the wing. You had half the wing left, but you lost the gun. You lost the weapon.
And you have to go buy it again, and it's quite annoying. Especially with the guns being spread out in game at the moment, it can be rather infuriating.
And that's an advantage that the Hurricane has over this. All the guns are really close to the centre, so you don't knock them off as much. And it's got smaller wings, which means, again, it's a smaller target, which I think all adds to that Hurricane over this.
We did that too, didn't we, Algared? We actually lined them up with each other, and the Hurricane, with the wings all folded in, it's so much bigger, this ship with the wings folded out. I'll have to turn a light on to do this probably, but it's obviously close to a gold standard, this ship, than some of the others, because they've added all these little switches, and you can pull out all the components and just pull a few of them out. So, shields. What's this one? Jump drive. You've also got actual storage now as well, so you can which one is it? No, I'm gonna find it in a minute. This one.
Yeah, when you click on storage, it'll actually open up your inventory, yeah.
Yeah, so just a few little things that a few of the ships before it don't have, so it's kind of cool to see them coming along with that, and eventually we're going to see this obviously on other ships as well, but it's just it's a nice thing to have, to know that this ship's a little bit further along than some of the other counterparts. I was worried, honestly, when they first pitched the ship. I just thought it's going to be a gimmick because it's an X-Wing. But now I've flown it, played with it. It is more than the sum of its parts. But I do think it suffers from... I don't know if I can say this, but like an X-Wing tax? Like, is that a thing? Because for $45, I can't justify this ship. It's $45 above the Hurricane. I just can't do it.
No.
Yeah. Two extra size fours just don't do it.
You mean two extra size? You mean two extra size threes above the two size fours? I get what you mean. Yeah. But
it just doesn't seem to do it. It does fit with that law though of the, like, I gather this is kind of the Black Widow, the RSI Black Widow, that was the heavy fighter that they were putting up that didn't win. And I think they've changed for, but it's been changed, the law's been kind of tweaked a little to fit this ship. And it does fit with that idea that this was a super expensive ship because it's got lots of moving parts and all the other crap. But it just didn't meet the standard that they were looking for in terms of the military and law. And but it is a lovely. It does look like a lovely ship.
Yeah, I left my flashlight on, so I had to get back at it.
In general, though, I'll say it's not worth it. The price. I mean, you're watching an Inforunners video. We're gonna tell you what we always tell everybody: melt your fighters. It's just fighters in general are not worth the prices you're paying for them. Just buy them in game, and this is definitely overpriced. But as I've said on Inforunners before many times, it falls in line with my theory that absolutely everything's getting more expensive. Everything's going to get more expensive as they go through, and it's not like CIG lost their minds. It's that, like, they said that from back in 2013 that everything is going to get more expensive. And that what you get, and when you bet back, is the early backer price, and everything else is going to.
Of course, so with the CCUs and CCU chaining, you can still get so many of the ships. If you walk one CCU over the long game, you can get almost every ship significantly cheaper than the initial concept STAR price. So CIG's promise that concept would be the cheapest you would ever get a ship is kind of been blown out of the water by their Warbond concept sales, which kind of sucks, but hey, that's life.
I'll just write on the back of kind of what Paul said there and add to it. And, you got things like the Corsair that are just around the corner that's currently just gone out of Invictus at, $215. When you got an entire 4-player ship as opposed to a 2-person ship. That's,
it has cargo that has significant, probably much longer range than the Scorpius. It's built for exploration, so it's multi-purpose. But
it's Drake, so it's kind of upgunned as well.
Upgunned.
So like I struggle to get behind this ship where it is at its current price point. So
What to use your analogy even more with an RSI ship? The RSI Taurus, pilot controlled 4 size 4 guns. Crew controlled 2 size 2s. It's still got all the missiles that the Andromeda has, and yet it's got mass loads of cargo, and it's a 4-player ship, and it's only $150 compared to this, which is $225.
This is $240.
$240. So is it $90 more in value than a Constellation Taurus?
No.
It's just again, it's combat ships come with that combat tax, and it just doesn't work. And they did upgun some of it. Like, I think they added an extra 16 missiles because originally it just had 6. So if you can see there, it's got 8 top, 8 bottom. So sorry, I said 16 total. I should have said. But they doubled the size of the missile loadout. But it just, again, bespoke
It suffers the RSI ship bespoke missile loadout, doesn't it? It's like a Connie, but Connie's limited to size 1 and size 2, depending on where the missiles are. This is limited to the missiles that are in those tubes. You might be able to change the type of missile, but you can't change the size of the missile.
So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, at the end of the day, yeah, for me, it's got its place in game. It's just, yeah, it's cool, but for me, it's an earning game. So I can kind of agree with what Paul's saying there.
Yeah.
And I think you're on the same page there, Algared, as well.
Yeah, unless you're crazy, have OCD, are a collector, there's no reason to buy this ship.
Yeah.
Like, even as an LTI token, it's too expensive as an LTI token.
Yeah.
There's no sane, logical reason to buy this ship with cash.
If you're if you're interested in it, I could probably see, like, as you go through up to something else, CC you throwing it through it.
CCing through it.
Yeah.
But it's not a buy the ship as an LTI token and then move on. There are cheaper ships to use for that, which will end up saving you more. Like, even the Mule would be a better starting point for than this is for an LTI token.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, Paul, is there anything last? Blah 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 blah. Paul, is there anything at last you want to add?
Don't, as I always say, if you like the ship, get it. Don't listen to us idiots in terms of that kind of thing. It's cool. It's a cool ship. If you want to spend that money, spend it. But if you're like saying, is this a valuable ship? Will this increase in value? Will is this this is a ship you'll probably be able to find in game everywhere. You'll be able to purchase it pretty easily, even when we have more people. More systems in game, and once even as ships become more scarce. So
I think in about 6 months too, it'll probably be in game, much like the Hurricane is, and you can just earn it and try it. Then just got a bit of patience, I think. Yeah,
I think this really does show what we're on about when we're talking about sell your fighters. Because if you listen to what we've said, all three of us absolutely love the look, love the feel. Love the way it performs. It's not the best, but it's got this really nice feel about it. It looks sexy as crap. It's got nice mechanics. It's got lots of nice bling about it. And yet, at the end of the day, we're saying, if you're looking for value for money, if you're looking for your bang for your buck, it just doesn't cut it. And that's really where Inforunners are. It's never, when we're saying sell your fighters or don't buy the fighter, it's not that we're saying they're crap or rubbish. It's just that when you're looking at your hard-earned dollars, there are ships that give you more gameplay and more avenues and more opportunities than a fighter does.
One thing, little thing I just want to add is I really do like the reverse thrusters in the front of the camera there that you can see. It's a very unique thing compared to other ships. So yeah, that's some nice little pretty effects too.
Yeah.
All right.
100% great.
Well, with that then, I think we'll wrap it up there. Yeah, if you like this type of content, leave us a like. Subscribe. If you want to go the extra mile on Patreon, hit us up on there. Is there anything else you want to add, Algared?
Leave a comment. We actually do read every single comment. Whether we respond to every single comment's another thing. But remember, when you leave a comment, be respectful. If someone disagrees with you, again, if you're disrespectful, we're likely to zap that comment and just make it disappear.
Yeah,
we don't mind disagreement, but we draw the line when you start insulting other people. So that's probably the key thing. So yeah, be respectful.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments below your thoughts on the Scorpius 2, and did you pick one up, or do you kind of agree with us that there are better options out there for the same kind of price? Is there anything you'd like to hear in the comments, Paul?
Obviously, did you pick one up? Do you think it's valuable? What would you like to see, from us in terms of what do you want us to review next? Do you want us to look at other ships, maybe relook at older ships? It's been a while since a lot of times we've looked at things like mining ships, or even giving you an idea of what the upcoming salvage ships are going to be like, because we know, like the Reclaimer, we haven't talked about in
A good while, actually. Yeah.
Oh, like I don't even remember when we actually talked about the ship shape for the Reclaimer or anything like that.
I can't remember doing the ship shape for Reclaimer. I know that whenever we're doing an IAE and a Reclaimer's there, Execute sings its praises because it's his favorite ship.
Fight me.
Sorry. But you know, with salvage coming out, you want us to take us a look at that. Let us know in the comments about what ships you want us to take a look at and kind of analyze for you, especially since there's a lot of newer folks coming in for the community who haven't seen this kind of thing before. So
probably a good idea for us to look at the Reclaimer and Crucible. Now they're back on the roadmap again. We will be having a buyer's guide for the Mule very shortly too.
Soon.
Why does my camera always stop in the most pleasant positions, giving me the most flattering views under the sun? It's great.
Before we go, Execute, I'll remind you, we were going to announce.
We're going to give this thing away, don't we?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We built it from CCUs. We made it do double duty during the Invictus and for the buyer's guide, and now it's time to give it away.
All right. So this is the person's name. I'm just going to chuck it down there. That is the person that has won. If you would like to reach out to Algared or myself, you can reach out to Paul if you prefer, but Paul's just going to feed you onto one of us. But yeah, if you can reach out to one of us, and we'll get this ship off to you ASAP. And I think that guy's name is Alderek79. So yeah, congratulations on winning the Scorpius. I did also give away the Legionnaire this morning because we forgot to do that on the live stream, and that was to a person by the name of Kaylee Olson, Calle Olson, Olson. They've won the Legionnaire, so if you guys can get in contact with me, and when we do the Mule in the next day or so, I'll have that in that video as well. All right.
Yep.
With that then. He's been Astropub, he's been Algared, I've been Execute. Catch you in the next one.
And we're out of here. Take care.